Hello traders, welcome to today's video. I hope as always that you had a really good weekend. In London it was amazing. It's been such a nice sunny weekend. It's great to finally see summer here. So if you went outside, touched some grass, drank some margaritas, had a little swim in the sea or whatever it is you like to do, then yes, I hope you had a very good weekend and are feeling rested and positive for the week ahead. So in this video, I am going to, of course, be going over my plans for the coming days on Bitcoin, some of the trades that I've taken recently and some of the trades I'm looking for into the future. But please make sure you continue watching, because after I've done that, I'm going to tell you exactly when I think the next the big macro move is going to happen. So I did a bit of work over the weekend using some magic shit that you might be aware of. And yeah, we have a little prediction as to basically the day, or at least the time period there we can expect finally to see some volatility coming back into the market and for this next big move to occur. So please do continue watching up until that point. It's going to be really useful and insightful for you. And yeah, hit the like button if you have not done so already. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe and watch until the end and give us a comment. Let me know what you think of the video and let me know any of your thoughts that you may have. So anyway, let's get straight into it. Enough of this waffle talking. We'll start off with some of the price action we've had recently. Okay, so you'll know on my last update, then we were talking about this long that I had taken at 26,500. So my actual entry was $26,500.86 was my entry on this. I have shared that. I'll show you the entry in just a second. In fact, I can show you the entry just now if I find it on the screen here. So this here is, of course, the trade that I took. You can see the entry just there. And yeah, resulted in a 50% take profit for myself last night, that I took 50% profit at exactly 27,400, just as we swept this high as expected. And yeah, resulting in, I know the R number's a bit silly because who knew that that was going to be the invalidation at this stage and wherever the entry was. But almost a 45 R on that trade itself. So yeah, a really nice trade, a really good way to start the week. And we actually had a couple of other little trades here over the weekend. So if I do just quickly bring back on the Discord, this was one of the trades we were looking at. Okay, so I was saying a note today because the weekend price action has been very clean and has given some good trades. We were discussing it last night in the trading chats. This is a really good setup to be aware of on weekends. More often than not, price action is internal, meaning that important highs or lows remain intact, but price ranges around local supply and demand. Okay, so what we were looking at really was these local lows that came into an area here of volume. Okay, so the first move that we had when we were looking for this, we were still expecting for like higher prices to come up here to that 27,400 zone. But when we got this move down to take out this internal liquidity, not really threatening the major lows that we had here on the charts, we come into a high volume node, and that's there. We saw as we came down into that point, getting some shorts opening into that area and then getting a decent bounce off of that eventually led us up towards those higher targets that we had up here. And this played out really, really nicely. So congratulations to those of you over the weekend who managed to catch that trade. Okay, you can see here back on the charts, this is what I was talking about. So able to get that long position as we came down and swept internal liquidity into a high volume node down here. And then eventually that led us up finally to take the highs before getting a retrace. And we're seeing a very similar situation here. So what we had here on Saturday night is very similar to what we're seeing here today. So you had this internal liquidity here coming into some volume, like an order block down at the bottom, managing to get a few spikes into those before eventually coming on and taking the highs. And what we've seen again here is the fact that we've already taken this out. The next low that we have down here around about that daily level and within this golden pocket that we have here is where we are currently sat at as support. So we had that rejection drop down into that golden pocket area, and having taken out these lows coming into an OB that we have at the bottom with some volume down there. So for now, I am considering this as support. And if we are able to hold this, then I think a bounce back up towards daily open and back up towards the value area high of this range is quite likely. Now we have another couple of levels on here to be aware of. So if I just throw on here the session volume profile, okay, you can see quite nicely lining up here, currently just at the value area low of the day so far. But if we are to get a move up, we can see here that we have some single prints just above our value area high on the current day. That could give you a good little short opportunity, maybe back into the POC. If we then continue past there, around about our daily open is where we come back into previous day value area low. And then finally, if we are to break into previous day value area low, that sets us up for an 80% setup that can take us into the POC or the value area high, which is up here within this, so this being a 15-minute OB at the high, and your golden pocket region once again there. So there's a few nice little levels to trade off of. Of course, the trend so far this week is down, but as we quite often see on these Monday mornings, the initial move will be to generate that liquidity, to generate that open interest. And then we get the reversal for the like actual full trend of the week soon after that. So if we are going to look at the TPO chart and see what's happening at the moment, we can see that there is a big increase in open interest this morning. We can see that it was very flat over the weekend, but since this morning, the Asia session, so this is around 3 a.m. UTC, we've been getting a really, really big rise in open interest here, and it is mainly these short positions starting to open up. So we are building these divergences. If we do bring on the delta here, we can see comparatively to previous lows, we are once again building these bullish divergences. So we do have to be aware that the trend so far this week is down, but I do consider this to be some quite decent support, and we are getting enough open interest and shorts opening to be able to squeeze those. For me, I'd say around about to that 27,200 golden pocket previous day point of control area is probably what I would most like to see from this. So yeah, that really is the plan for the day. I don't really think there's anything more I need to cover on this. We'll keep that one fairly short. So if I just quickly draw this on here, this is what we're looking for, is to continue around here. Maybe it sweeps the lows a couple more times, comes down nicely into this wick, but protects this. I've still got 50% of this position, remember. So I'm looking at this as a potential compound. So if we do go a little bit deeper, an opportunity to compound this, same invalidation, basically keep on building those short positions and then a move up towards previous day point of control, golden pocket, which is there at 27,200 up here. So yeah, get some CVD divergence, squeeze it, and continue with this range. But other than that, I am still for this week expecting, I mean, there's going to be opportunities, but overall, sorry, I've just opened up the website. Do go visit torrescrypto.com if you are new to the channel. But what I wanted to show here was that we have no news this week at all, like nothing. Okay, so there's nothing that's really going to drive any additional volume into the market. It's just going to be fairly organic, which is nice. So it does mean that we can trade this range without too much messing around from news events, unless we're going to get something unexpected. But this is going to be likely a fairly quiet week. So if we're not going to get the big move this week, then when are we going to get it? So yeah, we'll go into that part of the video right now. So let me just close this and let's go here onto a different chart. And I'm going to tell you some stuff on the macro, which is something that I don't do all that often. So let's zoom out here and let's have a look at exactly where we are on the Bitcoin chart. So first of all, in terms of direction, I'm not going to go too much into direction. We're going to go on time and when we can expect the next big move to happen. But I still do have a bullish bias, and I still do think that we can push up towards 38, 42, or 50K before we reach a top for this particular cycle. Then we have another little bear market for 6 to 8 months before the next halving, and we can then have a nice post-halving bull run after that. But when are we going to get this move? So I'm going to use a combination here of fib time and news events. So if we do just quickly go onto here, like go back onto the Forex Factory when we're looking at the news. So very, very quiet this week. Yep. Next week, however, is packed. Okay, so from next week, we have CPI on the 13th. We have PPI on the 14th. We have the federal funds rate on the 14th. We have the ECB referencing rate, retail sales, unemployment claims on the 15th, and on the 16th we have consumer sentiment and treasury currency reports. So it's a big week next week. Everything packed into 1 week in June. And we even get the joy of being able to trade not only one, but 2 news events in one day, which does not happen very often. So PPI and FOMC next Wednesday, the 14th. Now, what makes this even more exciting is that we have, sorry, I've got hay fever, so I just need to sneeze. I'm back. I should really just be able to pause these videos and continue them, but I don't. Let's do some fib time analysis as well. So if we go, first of all, from bull market high to bear market low, this brings in a fib time that is coming in within that same week. Okay, so this brings us up to like June the 20th, the exact date as your 1.618 for that. But as we know, this is never like, it's not, we're talking about like a couple of years here, so a few days here and there is going to be fine. Then if we start to look in a little bit more locally, okay, and first of all, we'll go for bear market low to high to low. So we'll do this trend here. This gives you a date here of the Friday, the 16th of June, which is your 1-to-1. And if you were to add on the next trending move that we got here, then this gives you, once again, a fib time, the 1-to-1 coming in on Friday, the 16th of June. So we go from low to high to low, and then low to high to low here, and this gives us fib time dates at exactly the same date, giving us an area that we can target for some extreme volatility to come into the market. Now, fib time is not something I use all that often. It's certainly not something I would use on the low time frames, but on the macro, it does seem to work. And the previous examples of this are if we look at the last cycle, okay? So if we're going to use these trend-based fibs and we go high to low to high, obviously with this being a downtrend, we're now in an uptrend, then when did we start to collapse here in June was right at that 1-to-1. We saw that next big move down after a period of sideways price action, which is exactly what we're getting now before we get a big move up or a big move down. But in the bear market, it was always continuation. So I'm going to be betting on continuation again, which could lead us to some higher prices. Then if we are to do the next one, we go once again from, on this occasion, low to high to low. This one here on the FTX crash day, bringing that in on the 5th of November. And that was what really triggered this massive crash. So yeah, you can see how these trend-based fibs are really quite nice and quite accurate on the previous market cycle, and that gave us a cycle low. And now that we have changed direction of these trends, can we expect some continuation to happen next week when we have a packed news events schedule, which will bring in fresh volume? We have people coming back from being away in May. We have June is upon us. Is that going to bring us some more volume? The fib time is going to bring us some new volume. We will have to wait and see. Like I say, this is slightly crystal bullshit going on here, but it is interesting to myself nonetheless. And if it does happen, then hey, we knew when it was going to happen, and we can be very happy about that. The other things that I do want to go over, I'm not going to pull these up on the chart, but I'll just show you a quick couple of charts. I did share this on the Discord. So first of all, we have volume and volatility at extreme lows. So if I pull up this chart here, down at the bottom, you can see our volatility index. And usually this lasts about 21 days, so a few weeks towards the lows. And we're getting to this point now where a couple of weeks into that, if we do get to next week, towards the end of next week, then that will have been a 3-week range that we've been in, and we can expect volatility to pick up and increase. Secondly is the chart that I've just shown you here with the fib times lining up on those same days. We have the news that's lining up in the same days. We then have our moving average, which are all like really coiling in on price right now. So it's only that 200 that's starting to catch up at this stage. We are basically sat on top of every other major EMA that you would usually look at from a macro perspective. And finally, if we are to use our anchored VWAPs, So we have an anchored VWAP here from our last halving, we have an anchored VWAP from a previous all-time high, and we have an anchored VWAP from the year and the bear market lows. And once again, these are really starting to squeeze in on price, and as soon as you start to get a move away from these, then you would expect price to repel. At the moment, they are being attracted into this zone, but as soon as you can get out of those, then you would expect price to repel away from that point. You can see here how the halving anchored VWAP acted as a good bounce zone. It started to get attracted into this price. As soon as you get that test, it repels away from it, and a similar situation down here. Okay, so with all of these converging in together, we are inevitably going to see a pickup in volume very soon. I would say probably next week. So be aware of that. Be positioned accordingly. Okay, although we do expect this week probably to be fairly quiet, continue on with this range. If we do continue on with this range, there's going to be very little room left for maneuver within it. It's already tight. It's already like, yeah, a very small range to be able to trade at the moment. But if we do get this continuation, then be prepared for some fireworks for the second kind of couple of weeks in June here. So yeah, that really goes over not only my short-term analysis, but my macro analysis. So for now, I would very much expect to continue trading within the range that we're currently in. That doesn't mean that we can't pop up like in between these areas. We can't see a move up to here, can't come down into our POI down here and continue this. But I do think staying within this range is very likely, and then hopefully we do see a big move out of that, whether that's going to be Dumpsville back down to make a double bottom, which I think at this stage it would almost have to be if we're going to pick up volatility, or if we're going to get that move up towards 38, which is again macro analysis point of interest for myself, then yeah, we hopefully will see that very soon. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you as always for watching. Please do leave a comment below on your thoughts. If you have anything else that you'd like me to look at in the next video, if you have anything you'd like me to look at on a live stream, if you have anything that you'd like me just to share, or if you want to share your own thoughts, then please do comment below. Give the video a like, and as I say, if you are not already subscribed, then please do that. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you all very soon. Cheers. Bye.